Spectrum wants to hear your views. You can SMS at any time during the show. Type Spectrum, leave a space, type in your contribution and name, then send it to 7197. Your views, our interviews on Spectrum, Radio 1 FM 90.
A very warm welcome. This is Spectrum on Radio 1. I'm your host, Edmond. On Spectrum tonight is a debate in Parliament linked to a succession battle within the NRM. Ever since the oil debate began in Parliament, speculation has been rife that this debate could reveal the hidden mistrust and lack of cohesion within the NRM party. Latest reports have indicated that the leader of government business, Mbabazi, who is also Secretary General of the party, is fighting with the Speaker of Parliament and a regional Vice Chairman of the party. Both Kadaga and Mbabazi are said to be in the queue of those wishing to succeed President Museveni if at all he chooses to retire or not present himself for re-election in 2016. In an interview with the Observer newspaper, Mbabazi confirmed that he too can be head of state, indicating that the ongoing debate in Parliament, presided over by Rebecca Kadaga, the Speaker, is basically a shrouded plan to tarnish his image. He particularly singled out the constituting of an ad hoc committee to investigate allegations against him, describing the move as illegal and an offense against the principles of justice. Both leaders have written to President Museveni accusing one another. In an October 24th letter, Mbabazi accused Kadaga of failing government programs in Parliament. In a response dated the 29th, Kadaga refuted the allegation, saying Mbabazi had failed in his role as leader of government business. On the other hand, a group of young NRM legislators, led by Theodore Sechikubo, Wilfred Niwagaba, and Muhammad Nsereko, among others, are turning on the hit against the old guard. They claim the time has come for the young generation that has a more keen interest in developing the country to take over. These developments have caused a lot of speculation, prompting people to ask, is Parliament becoming the grand arena for a succession battle within the NRM? Also, is the investigation of Parliament into the oil and gas sector credible, or is it a political tool to discredit some NRM leaders? So tonight we reflect on these questions and many others as we seek to understand what impact the ongoing debate on the oil and gas sector in Parliament is likely to have on the NRM as a party. Our guests tonight, Hon David Bahati, Vice Chairman of the NRM caucus in Parliament. You're most welcome, Hon Bahati.
Thank you.
We also have Hon Dr. Lulume Bayiga, Buikwe South MP, coming from the Democratic Party. You're most welcome, Dr. Bayiga.
Good evening, listeners. I'm also the Shadow Minister for Health.
Shadow Minister for Health.
Oh, yes.
All right. It has been about a month since the debate on the oil and gas sector began in Parliament. As we speak, the battle to have Prime Minister Mbabazi and Hilary Onek, the Internal Affairs Minister, to step aside is still raging. The probe by the ad hoc committee has kicked off, but many people, including those implicated, are crying foul. Honorable Bahati, what is the mood like in Parliament if you look at this kind of shroud, this kind of shadow around it?
Okay, thank you very much. I think this issue of oil debate started in the 8th Parliament, so it's not new in Uganda. There was a move by members of Parliament, and actually starting with the Committee on Natural Resources, to demand some legislation to, especially management of oil revenues, and to have access to the oil agreements. We did not succeed in the 8th Parliament, and the 9th Parliament actually started where the 8th Parliament ended. The resolution were made in Parliament, and I want to really inform the public that there are two types of resolutions we have in Parliament. There are those that are mandatory, normally coming from the Constitution. For example, passing of the budget is mandatory. If we resolve, executive must abide by it. Issues of referendum, those resolutions are mandatory. Creation of a district is mandatory, and salary of a member of Parliament, a resolution to that effect is mandatory. There are also another category of resolutions of Parliament. These are advisory. We make resolutions, we recommend to the executive. Of course, in a democratic dispensation, a resolution of Parliament is a serious resolution to any government. And what we passed in that debate were advisory resolutions. But we are very happy, as the Right Honorable Speaker said, these resolutions were forwarded to the executive, and out of the 10 resolutions, almost 9.5 have been accepted by the executive, and I think this communication has already reached the Speaker of Parliament. We formed an ad hoc committee to investigate the issues of corruption, and that's very good that the executive is agreeable to that, and the committee is already in place. So the mood in the House, we are all looking at the ad hoc committee results, because we want really the committee to go deep into this issue and bring out the truth about this matter, so that the public is aware, and this uncertainty about the management of oil revenue, an important asset of the country, is put to right and people are settled. The other issue that we are waiting for is the issue that we recommended recently to the Committee on Rules and Privileges Committee, to do with finding out whether the two ministers actually are in contempt of Parliament. Because as you know, Parliament passed a resolution which is advisory. We are still waiting upon the executive to know whether they accepted it or not. The committee is already put in place, and then another motion comes in to say actually these people are in contempt of Parliament. So we said no, let's go to the Rules Committee to find out if that is what happened. And we have given them 1 week. I hope when we come back on the 29th, they should be ready. And once they are ready, then we'll be able to know how to take this matter forward. But I think at the end of the day, it's important to note that Parliament is respecting Parliament, rather the executive is respecting Parliament, taking the advice of Parliament to almost 95% of the resolution we made. Secondly, that the committee has been put in place, given 90 days to investigate this matter, so that the issues surrounding the corruption in the oil debate and other related issues, and they have been given specific terms of reference, and we hope that they will do a professional job so that this matter is put to rest.
So what do you think the committee is going to what do you think the committee is going to recommend in your view?
Well, I cannot speculate on what the committee is saying.
You've been in Parliament for a long time.
I've been in Parliament. One thing that I can confirm here today, because we participated in nominating members who are now on the committee. We have very solid people on this committee. We have Honorable Buikwe, we have Honorable Freedom, we have Honorable Tashodia.
I was actually talking about the one that is supposed to run the contempt of Parliament.
The contempt of Parliament.
Yes. What do you think they're going to say?
I rather leave that matter to the committee. I don't speculate, because I've been given only 7 days. 7 days is a long time to wait, and we'll see what they recommend.
Dr. Bayiga, what's your reading? The government accepts 9.5, like you said, of the resolutions. What's your reading of them all?
Yes, but the most important, I think, of all the resolutions that Parliament took, and over which Parliament should be judged whether it can take resolutions seriously, is when members who Parliament thinks would be worthy to be investigated step aside, and that one determines whether the further investigations on these members are going to be really fruitful. Because the most important thing is to see that these members were outside their ministries, so that the committee would now independently take action and investigate them without fear that they are still holding offices. For instance, we are talking about Minister of Internal Affairs, where you are going to maybe have the police which are under him, investigating agencies under him. When he's still holding office, it becomes very difficult. And the Prime Minister who controls, who oversees other ministries, it makes matters difficult. So the mother of all resolutions was the advisory service to the ministers concerned to step aside. And the way we lock horns with the executive, the chief executive, is when he says that Mbabazi is going nowhere. That is prejudicing. And if at all Parliament took a resolution, and with representatives of the people took a resolution, and the chief executive is saying that it cannot work, that is where we are going to be judged. And I think the Rules Committee would be prudent enough, and it should take a very important step in the history of Parliament, so that the independence of Parliament is realized in this circumstance. That Parliament makes a resolution, and the resolution stands no matter whether the executive would want to prevail over Parliament. That's very important. So to me, we don't provide them with a grey area, really. We took a resolution in broad daylight. It was televised all over the media. And there is high hope in the population that this Parliament is really taking bold stance in order to control the excesses of the executive. So for me, I do not give them even a grey area where they can be compromised on that. It's Parliament's resolution, it should stick.
Let's talk about this 7 days committee. What do you think is going to rule on the contempt of Parliament issue?
Yes, I have high hope that it will rule that the resolution of Parliament.
So you think they'll be asked to leave, to walk out?
That is what we hope, and I'm saying that I'm not giving them even a grey area. It should be either or.
Really?
But when they do not succeed in enforcing or seeing to it that the resolution of Parliament takes root, then Parliament would be another rubber stamp. So it is either organizing a funeral for the Parliament, the 9th Parliament, or jubilating its success.
Honorable Bahati wants to agree with
I just want to make one clarification about this motion that we debated last week. This motion is not requiring ministers who were mentioned in the earlier resolution step aside. Actually, to step aside,
yes,
it wants them to be suspended
from Parliament.
Yes. Now, there have been debates on both sides. One is that if you suspend somebody from Parliament and he stays in office,
the executive,
what value are you adding?
Well, is it tenable? Can you be in the executive without being in Parliament?
Yeah. Given that we have put a committee to investigate these people, why should you penalize those people represented in Parliament for 3 months? These are the two things. But I want to emphasize a point, and I think we should be candid and bold and truthful to the public, that not all resolutions of Parliament are binding on the executive. We must be honest on this matter.
Right.
I don't support corruption. Everybody knows my stand when it comes to corruption. It's bad. We must fight it with all the strengths that we have, but we must do it in an open, and we must be truthful to the public that not all resolutions of Parliament are binding. So don't put the Parliament now.
We may not say.
Don't put it in the corner to say that we are either preparing for a funeral or a celebration. Don't put it in the corner that way, because this is advisory. Executive might take it on, but the resolution does not force these ministers. That's what it means.
Yes.
It doesn't force the ministers to step aside. Neither does it stop them from stepping aside. We appeal to their conscience.
Yes, he says why do you penalize their constituents? No representation.
No, we have seen many of them even not coming to Parliament in any case. When they're ministers, they may not even come to Parliament for 3 months and so on. We have seen many of them, but their constituents continue to call them MPs. Maybe they go back and tell them things and influence government in that way. But I wanted to emphasize something, that not necessarily binding the executive, but the executive has an obligation to respect Parliament.
All right.
Like Parliament would respect the executive on policy matters.
Some people have said that some people are using this debate to fight. They say the Speaker wants to succeed President Museveni. Mbabazi wants to succeed President Museveni. It was in the newspapers today. What do you think of that?
As Dr. Lulume Bayiga I do not subscribe to that kind of insinuation. I have studied the NRM and all its components, the constituent members. They all have fear and respect for one man. He succeeds himself in all presidential elections.
What do you mean by that statement?
Yes, I think they have subscribed to his life presidency project.
Oh.
And I cannot see any one of them really seeing him in the eye and advising him to retire, or somehow making overtures that maybe he can succeed him.
Is there a life presidency project? Talk to us about that.
Certainly.
You only had one life president.
There has never been
life president we ever had.
There has, of course, Amin was very honest. Was a very honest man. He wanted to be a president for life, and he was straight on the point. You like him, you hate him. That is what he has said, and
he was an honest man.
That is what he wanted to undertake,
whether it was right or wrong.
Yes,
but he was honest about it.
But these ones who are hatching the project from behind, then they hoodwink. Behind the curtains, I hear they sit with their clansmen and they want to rule for 50 years and beyond.
They hide it behind banana leaves.
Behind banana leaves. Then Gaddafi has to come here and then tell them that, revolutionaries don't give away power just with the ballot paper, continue ruling, and the son is also given a rank, preparing the thing to be a family thing, and then the rest of the NRM members accepting, buying into it, and they are simply herded together behind one man who wants to rule for eternity. There has never been a sign whatsoever. He continues to confuse them. Maybe he whispers to Mbabazi, maybe you can start to prepare. Then he whispers to Gilbert Bukenya. Maybe when Gilbert Bukenya warms up, this one also sees that overture. Then they start fighting. For him, he benefits into those fights. So I cannot see any of them standing up to be counted. Say, I am willing to challenge the president. This is our party. The way it is in the Democratic Party, where you see 4 or 5 members coming up to challenge each other on the helm, the leadership of the party, and therefore becoming candidates, presidential candidates, to lead the nation. Here in NRM it can't. So
really?
You forget about NRM people preparing themselves for succession. Those ones who are quarreling have eaten something.
Oh.
Yes, they have eaten something. And
really?
The president reported.
What kind of eating would that be?
Of course, this is the subject of investigation, which we are talking about.
Yes.
When the president pronounced it in Rwanda, that is surrounded with thieves.
Yes.
The young Turk said, now let us rid these thieves of the president.
And give him a night
yes.
of night.
So that he can continue to rule. They are happy.
Honorable Bahati, those are strong, those strong statements. Talk to us about, is it really a hidden battle for succession?
What I know and what I'm sure about is that the debate in the parliament is about 3 things. It's about access to the current oil agreements. It's about putting up in place a legal regime that will manage the oil sector. It's about management of the revenues from the oil sector. Nothing else.
You don't think
it is true that we have intrigues within the party?
Yes.
And we're working long and hard to see that our party is harmonized and remains stronger and grows stronger as you saw in the previous elections. We changed the curve from 59% to 69%. But I think what we are focused on as a party now is to make sure that we deliver on the promises we made. Secondary education,
yes.
Access to health, improving the roads, and making sure that all Ugandans have an opportunity to earn an income at a household income. Those are the things that really matter to us as a party.
Not who is at the top.
Who is at the top? Of course, we have a system. We have a constitution in place, and we have a system on how we elect our presidential candidates.
Is President likely to return?
That's a settled matter.
Is it likely to stay around until beyond 2016? extent?
That one is up to the party conference.
He could stay.
2005.
You're not ruling it out?
You cannot rule it out. But that's up to 2000, the conference, a national conference in 2015.
Why does the NRM appear to smother all debate of succession? Why does the NRM appear not to encourage discussion of succession?
Because actually it was resolved both in the national constitution and in our party constitution. Anybody who wants to come up to stand for president is free to stand up. You have seen Michael Mukura has started. He said he's willing to...
Well, but Amama Babazi mentioned some time back. He said he spoke about a queue and he was asked by the president, what queue are you talking about?
Yes, and I agree with the president. I don't think we have queues in the party. If you want to stand up for president, come up and stand up. It's as simple. The system are very...
As though you're waiting for beans.
We are not running a monarchy. It's a presidential system, and everybody has a potential to stand and compete with anybody for the top post.
This is Spectrum on Radio, and tonight is the debate in Parliament linked to a succession battle within the NRM. We're going for a break. We'll be back. Do stay tuned. You'll be able to call in and contribute to this discussion.
Let the sunlight in.
Good morning, sunshine of my life. You look happy today.
I am. I came in here and I saw there was a whole pile of washing to do.
But I thought you didn't like doing the washing.
No, I love it. Anything else you need washed?
Sunlight 2-in-1 with added fabric softener. Smells so good, you want to use it again and again.
Let the sunlight in.
Sunlight 2-in-1. Sunlight clean, sunlight fresh.
Sunlight in. Happiness is all around. Let the sunlight in.
John, Mike and I, we go back a bit. We knew John at the beginning, working for someone else. But he was different. He had vision, saw opportunities. He started working towards his goal, opened his own garage, and worked, learning the hard way. His reputation spread. Trust, consistency, quality. Soon people were coming to him from all parts. He made himself and his whole street prosper, and also helped friends, seeing potential in people and helping them on. But John never shouts about all his success. He's just who he is. Special.
So here's to men like John, who make a difference, who enjoy Nile Special, the rich, satisfying taste from the source. Nile Special.
You've earned it.
Not for sale to persons under 18.
Is your internet provider turning your world upside down? Broadband Company offers fast and reliable internet solutions. And for the first 100 subscribers this month, we offer zero connection fees. Save up to 400,000. For more information on these offers, call toll-free 0800 222 111.
Broadband Company, more than you expect.
Spectrum on Radio 1 FM 90 is brought to you by Stanbic Bank.
Welcome back on Spectrum. Tonight is the debate in Parliament linked to a succession battle within the NRM. Our guests, Honorable David Bahati, Vice Chairman of the NRM caucus in Parliament, and Honorable Dr. Lulume Bayiga, Buikwe South MP, coming from the Democratic Party, also Shadow Minister of Health. You'll be able to call in later. I'll read out the numbers when that time comes. Honorable Bayiga, the Prime Minister, leader of government business in Parliament, writes to the President. 5 days later, the Speaker also writes. Why is this shadow boxing?
Well, yeah, you see, I know the personality of the Prime Minister. I mean, he's characterized as an overbearing fellow who must prevail over others. Because in any case, I hear he determines the cabinet list and is a class monitor of the kind. And despite the fact that the Speaker...
As Prime Minister or even before?
Yeah, even as before. And I think he has got the nod of the President as the intellectual who anchors his policies.
Or he's the one who advises the President?
Yeah.
On strategy and things like that.
That is what I believe.
He's the brain behind the throne.
That's right. That is what I believe. It has not been told to me, but we observe. We are politicians. And as Secretary General of the party, who holds the values of the party and constructs it, he's in pole position to do that. And of course, many of these other people, candidates who are standing, of course, were determined. And if at all you misbehave, the big brother is there to see you.